Come on, come on, come on. Come on, I have only 20%, 4% batteries. Just give me 5 minutes to get out. Come on. Come on, do as you're told, especially when the camera's on. That's more like it. Hi ladies. There's the old pet here now at the gate. As long as she doesn't throw me out of her way. More trouble than anything. That's the jar. Wait, wait. Or devil. That's the jar. Back. Go on. Get out of the way. Good evening everyone and welcome back. Just after feeding the calves here now. It's a very warm Sunday afternoon. Flies are starting to really come out now. You can see them there, they're kind of swarming around the calves. That time of year has come. Flies are dangerous. I don't like them around cattle. Try to keep them off them as much as possible. We use different licks. We put in garlic licks and things. It helps, and we have a bit of a spot on, pour on that we use in our heifers. It does help. Nothing fully eliminates them, but it helps. But you may have noticed there on the footage when I was coming over the road in the quad when I looked in that the grey crows are back annoying the calves again. To wait here for about 15 minutes with the calves until they've ate most of their meal, because if I leave it, the grey crows is going to come in and they're going to drive the calves away from the trots, and that's what's been happening. I actually didn't really pass much remarks on that at the beginning, but I've actually seen it now with my own eyes that they actually are driving the calves away. I watched them this morning in particular. I fed the calves, just poured the meal, checked them if they're okay, and drove over the road. I looked back and most of the calves were away from the trot, and there was about a dozen big dirty black grey crows in around the trot. It's actually not the black crow, it's the grey crow that's the real problem, though, the hooded crow we call them. So I'm going to have to deal with them again. They're a real pest. They're all the time in around the calves, and they're eating the dung as well of the calves because there's meal in the dung that's gone through their system. They're everywhere. The countryside is flocked with them. Just now as I'm talking to you, you're not going to be fit to pick it up on the GoPro, but we have two of them circling here at the moment. We like to call them the watchers, and they're just waiting for me to go away so they can do their stuff. There's 3 or 4 now just coming across as we speak, following that one. So yeah, they're a pest. That's part of farming. The calves are doing well. They're all in good form, all healthy. We never had any issues yet. The weather hasn't been great. It's been cold and then it's been warm, and it's just a mixture of everything. We've had north wind blowing all last week, which certainly isn't good because it's hitting them calves kind of straight on, and they haven't as much shelter in that field as we'd have had in the field before. But they seem to be all right. They're good and healthy. They've got a good start, which is very important with calves. You get the right start and you just can't beat that. So I nearly got a bit of a fright there. One of my heifers was lying and didn't get up, and I thought there was something wrong. There wasn't a move out of her, but sound asleep. Flies are a real pest. Last year we did lose a heifer's quarter with summer mastitis. Hadn't had that for years, but last year was just a swarm for flies. You get really bad years and you get years that just aren't as bad. But we'll be doing these now tomorrow with spot on. You can also get pastes and things that you can rub onto heifers' elders to protect them. Don't know, I've used it before, several different brands, and I feel that the spot on and the garlic lick put together is a good combination. That seems to work really well. You can see this field here now is quite white. You're probably wondering, is that because of the drought? No, the cover on this was quite heavy, and I came in then a couple of days ago and I run the disc mower over everything, and I just cleaned everything off that they hadn't ate, and then I leave them in it for a few days. You can see they're not hungry. There's very little left. There's a little bit of stuff just left on the bottom, but it has cleaned it off enough. They have enough of it ate. The weather's been so dry, the stuff that's left on it is just going to rot away into the ground. We'll put them into a paddock now this evening. It's very, very heavy. Look at its stuff. Paddock's got ahead of us. Cattle just didn't get out quick enough. That's not their fault. It's not the weather's fault either. It's just the fact that we didn't want to let them out too early, because we were trying to get them in calf before we put them out. That way they were easier to see in the house. But just left paddocks got a little bit ahead of us. So I'm going to let them in here now. Let the fence out of the way. Come on. Come on, in you go. Come on. That's the beauty of having electric fences and paddocks set up through your farm. I very rarely have to do much moving of fences over here, especially in this farm, and I can manage my grass an awful lot better. It's just a great thing. I can come over here and do an awful lot in a very short space of time on my own, and don't need anyone helping me, and it just keeps everything in order. They'll be in here now. This will do them for at least a fortnight. As you can see, these trees here behind me, they're a lime tree. Something you don't see every day. I'm not sure what was up here before we bought this land, or long even before that, but there was a mill, flax mill, not too far away from here, and I think there was a mansion of some sort built somewhere around this area, because there is lovely little laneways and things, which is a lovely little place to be. Just give you an idea here by turning you around. There's a little laneway run up between these trees. It's actually a magical little spot. My kids come up here, and we have camped out here a few nights as well, especially in the autumn time when the leaves start to fall. It's just a lovely little spot to come. It's one of my favourite spots on the farm, and it also provides great shelter there for the cattle when they're in this area. A few fell, unfortunately. There was more out a little bit further out as well, and they fell too. There was one here, there was two actually here that fell all back about 15 years ago or more, like. But I might actually, if I can, find the very same variety of lime tree that is, and plant maybe a couple of trees in their place, because I do like it. It's a nice little spot, and I think it's definitely worthwhile protecting it. Everything's good, nothing a-bulling, or in heat as we should say, and that's what we want to see. Definitely don't want to see any of them come a-bulling now, because they should be well in calf at this stage. We had a couple of repeats, and we're having a few at home as well, quite a few at home. The percentage has been quite high, a little bit higher than what it was in previous years, and we have vaccinated now, and our cattle have tested clear for everything else, so we're pretty sure that it was the leopard that was causing it. Maybe it takes a little while for the vaccination to work. They were done and finished in early March, where they had got the second round, so we'd expect to see some sort of fruit for our punishments, as we say. But so just back over here, we're doing a little bit of fly control today. Just after feeding the calves, myself and my daughters are over here just giving me a little bit of a hand. But as you can see here behind us, we've left over a bucket of garlic. Garlic's great, keeping the flies off. Young calves, flies do cause issues, and not so much as what it causes with our heifers, which we'll go over there now and look at them. We're going to treat them differently. But with calves, flies and stuff like that tends to cause a lot of pink eye. Just they spend the whole time in around the calves' eyes, cause infection. You get a pus that comes out of their eye. Next thing then they get an ulcer in their eye, and the eye gets really irritated, and the ulcer starts to grow, and the calf can go blind. So you have to treat that then with ointments. But to try and eliminate that happening, we're taking every precaution possible, and we just left the garlic licking with them. Probably do them with spot on maybe later on. We'll see how that does first. But the garlic is quite good and does definitely help, so it's a start. Now we get up to the heifers, get them in, and we'll get them done fly treated as well. So just over in the other shed now, just above where them calves was, we're getting the chute ready. Well, Nicole's getting the chute ready here, just set up, so we'll bring the heifers in just to show you what we use to actually treat the flies. So spotting owl is what we used last year. Quite good. We found a great effect. It definitely kept the flies, a lot of the flies off them. Didn't see near as many flies in the heifers after we used that, and last year was a real tough year for flies. This year we weren't able to get that. It just wasn't in stock in the co-op where we buy our stuff at the time, but this year is supposed to be just as good. So we'll give it a go. Hopefully it'll have the same effect. It, along with the garlic bucket, should deter an awful lot of them. We have the tail paint here with us as well. Just when we have them in, we're going to put tail paint on them. They should be all in calf, well, all bar one that we just haven't done yet. But we just put it on them. It's no harm when we have them in, just to stick a bit of tail paint on them. As I say, we're looking at them 3 times a day nearly now at the moment, just to make sure there's no repeats. But a little bit of tail paint when they're in always helps along. And of course, a bit of gloves just to protect the hands when you're using any kind of pour on and things is essential. So let's get them in now. So myself and the mini army behind me over here to get these heifers in. As you see, we have a little bit of a fence set up to go through one of our silage fields just to get the heifers down to the shed. This is only a temporary solution. We're going to be making a pad over there probably later on this year towards the autumn for taking our heifers in and out, because our heifers tend to spend most of the time on the far side of this field, and we have need to get them in. We don't really want to be walking them through our silage field. Doesn't do any harm for the amount of times we're putting them in, but just thought it'd be a better solution and it'd be easy enough done. So come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't be going over there. Come on, out, come out, come out. Come on, do as you're told, especially when the camera's on. That's more like it. So that's them done. Kids are making fun of me again, but they're all done now for flies, and tail paint is on. That tail paint's all right. Just don't like the brushes in the end of the bottle. It's hard a bit just having actually a emulsion paint or something like that and just putting it on a roller. It works much better, but look, it does. It was there, I needed it, and use it when it's there. To get these back out now, back into their paddock and settle back in again. That's the first time I've actually shown the chute being used. I know it's a bit dirtier now than it would have been in the last few videos you've seen it, but it's actually doing its job now. I'm really happy. This gate here has actually surprised me. I know I've talked a lot about it and telling you that I might actually change it for something else, but you know something, it actually has grown on me. I figured out a way to use it that's safe, and it in a combination of this little back closing gate here is brilliant. It's working really well. The heifers, I say, are fairly quiet anyway, and they're actually getting used to putting their heads into it, and there's no animal trying to jump or trying to charge through it, so it's safe and it's actually working really well. So I'm pleased at the minute. I'm very pleased with it. And the circular gate over here is working really, really well. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I don't have to go in near the cattle unless you get the really awkward one, but I can bring it straight over behind that gate, and there really is nowhere an animal can go. They're encouraged to run the whole way up the chute, and that's the idea of the curved wall, and I'm really, really happy now I did it that way. I have to do a simple couple little jobs yet. I still have to put little latches on the walls. I haven't done that yet, so it's, to be honest, it doesn't really need it. It probably will need one, maybe 1 or 2 along the line, but when you push the gate back, the cattle aren't inclined to push the gate back on top of you, so you can move it back and forth nice and easy. But I will put latches in just in case you get a couple of animals maybe that aren't just as quiet later down the line. And over here we have a hole dug. You see there our other gate. We've just a hole started here now, sank, to put in our next post. I'm not just fully sure yet what way I'm going to go with it, but there's a steel girder there, and that's a 10-foot steel girder that's going to be put down as far as we can, because the ground isn't really solid there and there's a lot of filling. So I'll probably put it down about 4 feet into the ground. I may dig out a bit wider section around it and put in a kind of a foundation, because I have blocks here, and I could build a pier there instead, with the steel post maybe on the front side of it that you can weld the hinges to, and then just build a pier around that. It'll be real solid and it might look better as well. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. That's going to be done now in probably the next couple of weeks. That's the heifers back into their paddock, all nice and settled. There's the garlic bucket here with them as well, so we'll keep that topped up as they need it. That was when we put there this morning about an hour ago, and a lot licked of it already. A little bit of vitamins in that. There's a little bit of vitamins in that as well, and that does no harm. It's a nice little job to get done. It's just gone, I haven't got a watch on me, but it's just, I know it's just gone 9:15, girls, yeah, 9:15. So it's nice to get them little jobs done early in the morning when it's kind of cooler. Yes, it was very warm, very humid. And it's hateful working in that type of weather. I'm going on now to start a bit of work on the case. That's going to be in the next video. So until then, thanks very much all of you who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Give us a like, give us a comment. And girls, are we ready to go home for breakfast?
Yay!